Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 different mum head backers. So some people call them crowns. I usually call it a mum head, the mum backer, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to show you 3 different ones and they're going to be pretty quick. Now each one of these does have a longer video on either my main channel or my Homecoming Mum, my Crafty Bugs Homecoming Mum Beehive, and I will put links to those. So if you want to watch the longer videos, which shows a lot more in depth, it's slowed down and it'll show a lot more about the mums themselves. So this first mum I made as a pre-made mum to put on my Etsy shop. So I made it to where it can be for a boy or a girl. So it's not too girly, not too boyish. It's kind of in between, and it's just like more classic looking. And so I'm preparing the flower there. That's a 5.5 inch flower. Here are the 2.5 inch width ribbons for the main loops. I'm doing these really wide loops first. And you can tell this was before I was using my ribbon cutter because the cuts are so bad. So I used a navy with a white on the inside. Now if you want that white to stay really crisp and clear, or clean, you'll want to double up the whites, but since it's on the inside, I'm not worried about it. But I do like to double them to make it nice and thick. And then that is a soft gold diamond dust, which is a 1.5 inch width. I think that soft gold looks so good with the navy. You can see that navy kind of makes the white look grayish. It doesn't keep it real crisp white. So if you want that real crisp white, you'll want to double that. So if the white was going to be on top, I definitely would have doubled that. Now I've got some more of the diamond dust. This is the 1.5 inch width. I cut it at 12 inches because I'm going to fold it in half and then I'm going to make a twisted loop, because on the twisted loops you can see both sides, so you want both sides pretty. And I've realized it's a lot easier if you just go ahead and cut 12 inches instead of 2 6-inch strips, and they stay together a lot better as well. So I just want to twist those and then line them up and give it a staple. I love these twisted loops. I've been using them for years. I don't know who created them, but they're just really classic looking to me, like updated from the, I forget what you call them, the points. I do not like the points. I used them, I think, maybe the first or second year I made mums, but I haven't used them yet. And some people still love points. That's great for you. If you do, use what you like, what works for you. Okay, this is a 1 5/16 inch luster, navy luster. Again, I cut it at 12 inches, fold it in half, and then make my twisted loops. So 4 of each of those. Now I have a 5.5 inch backer, 5.5 inch flower. See that perfect fit, and I like to put that first loop in there, kind of see where I want to attach it on the backer. And when I'm doing these in 4s, when I'm doing loops or twisted loops or anything really in 4s, I will do north, south, east, and west on the backer and then fill in from there. It just works really well for me. You know, if that doesn't work for you, if you have your own routine, you don't have to change that for me. Now, if this helps you, great. It really works for me, so that's why I do it. But like, again, you don't have to do what I do. And I'm attaching those at the same time so I can make sure that it's going to cover that white backer showing. I want to make sure that I'm keeping that completely covered, going over the big loops, so covering the edges of those. So it was easier for me to attach 2 of them at the same time to make sure that they stayed where I wanted them to be. And do those last 2, slow that down a little bit. You can push that loop up like I did with the stapler and go under it or behind it so you don't squish the loops. You see how I'm pushing that up? So I don't have to go over it and worry about squishing it. And there it is. I thought it turned out beautiful. It was classic. It's not anything crazy. Looks good for a guy or a girl's mum. And again, I love that soft gold with the navy. I just thought it was really, really pretty. Now I'm just gluing down the flower And I'll let that set before I attach it to the mum, and I'll show you a picture of the completed mum so you can see what it looks like on the mum. And then we are going to go on to the second one. Now, this ribbon is a little bit wider than that, so if you're going like this, you can either double them and do them like this and this. You can leave it like that, or you can go in the middle. You're just trying to do a color underneath, and that's what I'm going to do on these. I like to make them a little bit thicker. Okay, I'm going to continue to make those. I believe I was using the regular gold diamond dust on these, and then that pink is just regular pink acetate. I made 4 of those, and I did double up the acetate there on those, make it nice and thick. And then that pink ribbon was from Hobby Lobby, and it's just kind of like a mesh ribbon, so I like to use at least 2 layers of either the acetate, the luster, whatever ribbon you normally use for homecoming mums. I want to do some ribbon spikes, so I still need 2, 4, 6, 8, right? Yeah. And I want these to be 3 inches. So 3, 6, that's 2, 4. Never mind. 1, 2, 3. That's what I didn't want it to do. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, I'm going to cut a V shape on the end. I'm going to do a couple of them at a time. All right, on the ribbon spikes, I'm cutting a V shape, and I only cut those half the length I did for the loops because you're not folding them in half, so they only need to be half the length. And then I like to take a smaller ribbon spool and just draw a circle on the backer. A lot of times that will help guide me on where I want to attach the loops and help me keep them straight and even. So I'm not attaching one like too far to the center and then the next one too far out from the center, if that makes sense. So the loops would be hanging off the backer in different amounts, and you can totally see that. Now if you do it on purpose and you're just randomly attaching stuff on there, that looks good too. I used to do that a lot, but now I'm like really measured about how I do it. I just got in the habit of doing this and I can't go back for some reason. But I decided to do 2 spikes in between those loops, and I left space in between them because I knew I was going to go over it with the pink loop. Move that one up and out of the way. There we go. Again, I'm using a 5.5 inch flower on this. That's my go-to for mini and peewees, is either the 5.5 or the 4 inch, and I get some customers that really like the 5.5 look, and I get some that really like the 4 inch look, so I offer both, and I like both. But of course the 5.5 is going to be a little bit bigger looking mum, and that was a 5.5 inch backer as well. I like to staple that chenille stem down and then add some glue as well. I just want to make sure that everything is nice and secure and there's no possibility of it coming off. And I was attaching a little ribbon necklace on there, and then I'll attach also another loop for the option to pin it on, so they could either wear it as a ribbon necklace or as a pin on. And that's just some soft satin ribbon there. And I usually just eyeball it on cutting the ribbon pin, the pin on. I did that one a little bit wider than what I usually do. And some of them I go shorter, some longer. I just, like I said, I randomly do it. And then for the ribbon necklace, each side is at least 24 inches. I wouldn't go any shorter than that. If it's a big mum, in a wide ribbon, I'll usually go like 30 to 36 inches. Look how super cute that is. So in love with that pink mum. And there it is finished. So in love with that. So cute. And then for our last backer, this one is a wrist mum backer, or a mum head. And I cut those at 8 inches and then folded it in half and folded it in half again. The first fold you crease and then fold it in half as a loop, and that way you have a doubled loop, but you only had to cut the ribbon once instead of cutting two 4-inch pieces and making a loop. Cut it at 8, fold it in half, then make your loop. That way it's nice and thick, and then you got the pretty shiny on the inside as well. And then I'm doubling it up with these like soft satin and grosgrain ribbons. One's volleyball, one's soccer, and then there was some other cute ribbons that you'll see, like glitter ribbons and such. Usually with like the wrist mums and ring mums, I'll do layer with all kinds of little fun ribbons like that, and that's pretty popular with the customers. They really like that. So if the girl is into cheerleading and different sports and stuff, I can incorporate it with those ribbons. It really helps to get that in there, because there's not a whole lot you can do with the wrist mum. You can add those ribbons in the streamers or the skirt of the wrist mum, and you could add some custom cutouts and a few trinkets, but you can't do a lot with those. So getting those ribbons that are themed like that really helps. So again, and that ribbon is the 1 5/16, the number 7. Just kidding, it's number 9. I'm gonna have to pull the number 7 in all the videos from now on. It is a joke if you don't understand. There is no number 7 ribbon. It's just a funny joke, an inside joke within our community. It's my fault, but we're just going to keep carrying it on. Because if you can't laugh at yourself, then you can't laugh at anybody else. You see, there's that one's like either baseball or softball. It's just black and white, so you can use it for either. And there's the glitter ribbon. So I like making several layers. And of course you can do one color on the inside of the loop and one on the outside like I did on those previous ones. That is a 4-inch iridescent flower. Again, I'm putting it on the backer, which my backer is just a ribbon spool in. When I use the ribbons, if the spools are decent, I will pull those off and use those. Some of them I have to throw away, but those usually work really great for wrist mums. Sometimes I'll even use them, for the 4-inch mini and peewee mums. It just depends on how they look. I've made some before, but I've got so many ribbons and I'm always using so many ribbons, I might as well reuse that stuff. And they're perfect circles, and they're thicker than backers, so they hold up really well. They have a bigger hole for the flower, that's the only thing. And then I decided to do some spikes. So again, you don't cut those the full length, and I know you would think I would do it at 2 inches, and you could, but 1.5 worked perfectly for me. So you can just kind of decide how you want it. I didn't want them the full length. I didn't want the spikes to go all the way to the ends of the loops. I just wanted to add something in the center there to help fill in around the flower. So if you wanted them to be longer, wanted them to be closer to the end, like the same length as the loops, then you'd want to go 2 inches or half of whatever you made the loops. So the loops were 4 inches, so if you wanted them the full length, you would have go 2 inches. And now I'm just stapling some tubing. I'm just making loops and stapling. Very simple. The good thing about using ribbon spool ends as backers is you can, if you have a plier stapler, you can go through the center. See how I'm going into the center there with my stapler, so that makes it really easy to attach stuff. And look how cute that is. It turned out so cute. I'm going to go ahead and prep this flower. Usually I do that before, but not always. It's nice to have it done before. Now with these small ones, I don't usually tie a knot See how I'm just twisting that with my pliers? Just curling it and then go ahead and glue it down. So it's going to make a little knot, and then shake it out like I did there. And there it is. You can see there's a little golf club cut out on it. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, you can click on the links if you want to see the longer videos of each of these backers. And please give me a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, comment, all the YouTube-y things. Please be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and happy mum making.